As we bring this living legend to the podium, let's congratulate him and thank him for his service to Oklahoma Christian. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Stafford North.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Goad, platform guests, faculty and staff, and honored graduates, families, friends. I'm very grateful to have this honor to share with you some thoughts today, particularly with you graduates, and I hope that what I have to say will be useful to you for the rest of your life. As I begin, I want to mention to you the most famous commencement address ever given. It was given on October the 29th, 1941, when Prime Minister Winston Churchill went to Harrow School to give the commencement. He had attended there from age 14 to 19 and had not done especially well academically. But he was back at a special time. England was in its third year of World War II and had suffered through 267 days of intensive bombing by the German Luftwaffe, bombing their cities, destroying many of their buildings and homes, and killing thousands. But they had not lost their resolve. They were determined to stand strong. Things had gotten a little bit better for them. The Americans were now supplying armament and supplies, and the Germans had turned their attention to the Eastern Front against the Russians, and so an invasion across the English Channel was not imminent anymore. And it was under those circumstances that Churchill went to Harrow to give this graduation address. And some of the words that he said have been long remembered. He said to those students in the middle of a fairly short address, "Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never. In nothing great or small, large or petty, never give in." Now, that was a great message coming from someone who had led the British in persevering through this very difficult time. Now, I don't think my speech today is going to be as famous as Churchill's, but I do think I have a message for you that you can remember, and that can affect your life for the rest of your life. The message I have for you today is just 4 words. They come from Jesus, and they are, "Let your light shine." Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Everybody say it with me. Let your light shine. Do it again. Let your light shine. Graduates from Oklahoma Christian have been letting their light shine ever since we began as a 100-student junior college in Bartlesville, Oklahoma in 1950. All over the world and in many different settings. And so I want to tell you today briefly about some of your predecessors who have let their light shine. I could list many, many others. But these will make the point that whatever your major, wherever you go and whatever you do, you can let your light shine. And so you can be a light of good, a light of service, a light of moral integrity, a light of spiritual hope to those around you. And so here's a list that I want to give you of our alumni who have done just that. Ray Vaughn graduated in 1970, was a TV anchor and spent several terms in the Oklahoma House of Representatives, now Oklahoma County Commissioner, shining his light in government and politics and in serving in prison ministry. Dr. Harold Shank, 1972, pulpit minister, worked in urban ministry, taught here at Oklahoma Christian for several years, and now is the president of Ohio Valley University. Jay Tabor graduated in 1986, graduate of Harvard Law, very successful in corporate law and was listed as one of the top 40 lawyers under age 40 in Dallas. Lon Winton, 69, served as Senior Vice President of Chesapeake Energy. Patrice Douglas, 83, served as Mayor of Edmond and on the Oklahoma Corporation Commission. Dr. Bailey Mcbride graduated in 1954 when we were at junior college. Returned to serve Oklahoma Christian for 48 years as a beloved professor and vice president for academic affairs. A father, son, and grandson from the Carriaga family. Roman in 64, Salvador in 83, and Peter in 09, leaders in the development of churches and disaster relief in the Philippines. And a family of 4, the Brazel family. Mike graduated in 74, been a preacher in several congregations, now serving in Kimberling City, Missouri. Mark graduated in 75, been a missionary in Belgium for 16 years, and then served as a preacher and now with Mission Resources Network. Paul, 79, a missionary in Belgium for over 25 years. Pete graduated in 80, served with Let's Start Talking in Italy and Germany and Honduras, and now a minister in Clawson, Michigan. 4 fine preachers from one family, all OC graduates. And a family of 5. Dr. Charles Branch, Jr., graduated in 77, chair of neurosurgery at Wake Forest University, has developed highly successful devices to make spine surgery less invasive. Because of his generosity, our Biblical Studies Center is named for his parents and his wife's parents. Dr. Warren Branch, Texas Dentist of the Year in 2011. Dr. Dan Branch graduated in 80, partner in a major Texas law firm and a member of the Texas House of Representatives and chair of the House Committee on Higher Education. Alfred Branch graduated in 84, served as the Executive Vice President and President of Oklahoma Christian, now the President of Moriah Realty, a highly successful multi-state real estate company. And their sister, Cynthia Branch Adams, 86, who stayed at home to raise her 5 children. And that's a good way to let your light shine. David and Barbara Duncan both graduated in 89, 8 years as missionaries in Brazil. Then he served as the evangelism minister at the Edmond Church of Christ and now preaching at the Memorial Church in Houston. Sherry Cole, 87, highly successful head women's basketball coach at the University of Oklahoma. Dr. Andy Benton graduated in 74, 15 years as the president of Pepperdine University, and has served as chair for the American Council on Education. The Lawsons, Richard in 66 and Pat in 67, developed the highly successful Lawson Software Company and outstanding donors to Oklahoma Christian. Jennifer Ma, 93, trained at OC in computer graphics and was chief designer for the spectacular opening ceremonies of the 2008 Olympics in China. Dr. Gordon Dabbs, 91, missionary to Brazil, now pulpit minister at the Preston Crest Church of Christ in Dallas. Jeff Dimmick, 83, a manager at Boeing Aircraft, many mission trips to the Ukraine, and now executive vice president at Ohio Valley University. Diana Niffen, 03, computer engineer at NASA, working on IT security, particularly on launch control systems. Dr. Terry Johnson, 64, president at Oklahoma Christian for 21 years. Richard Shaw, 87, youth minister and now director of church life at MacArthur Park Church of Christ in San Antonio. Also directs summer youth camps on the campus of Oklahoma Christian. Megan Hawley, 03, and Jana Miller, 09, working with abandoned babies and children at the Haven in Zambia. Dr. Earl Edwards graduated in '53, missionary to Italy for 16 years, served as Director of Graduate Studies at Freed-Hardeman University. Waylon Whitlow, 64, preached at Clearwater, Kansas for over 40 years. At his funeral recently, a huge number of the citizens of Clearwater turned out to show their appreciation for his longtime service. Reagan Hightower graduated in 2011, works in a partnership between Mercy Hospital and hospitals in Rwanda. Major General John Admire, U.S. Marine Corps, retired, class of '64. Distinguished Service Medal, Legion of Merit Award, Senior Military Aide for President Carter. James Thiessen, 98, engineer for Lockheed Martin as a lead engineer over F-16 fuel, power, and control. Jim Batten, 70, Chancellor of Ibaraki Christian University in Hitachi, Japan. Dr. Fred Rhodes, 76, Superintendent of Putnam City Schools and was nationally recognized as a distinguished principal, also an elder at the North MacArthur Church of Christ. Dr. Bill Pink, 90, served as Vice President of Academic Affairs at Oklahoma State University, Oklahoma City campus. Dr. Robin Miller, 85, Chair of the OC Department of Teacher Education, but now on leave to serve as Deputy Oklahoma State Superintendent of Schools over policy and research. Dr. Harold Redd, 75, preaching minister of Midtown Church of Christ in Memphis, Tennessee, and frequent speaker on lectureships and seminars. Amber Foster of 04, Tegucigalpa, Honduras, working with orphan children. And I can mention other OC presidents and vice presidents and deans and faculty who have returned to serve their alma mater. And I should mention one more. After graduation in 1979, he designed computer games for Enterprise Square and then entered the computer field, becoming vice president of MBO Partners, a computer firm headquartered in Arlington, Virginia. Now back at OC teaching in computer science. For 8 years, he's been leading the inner city work at Capitol Hill. Oh yeah, his name is David North. And they're also his sisters, OC alums, Julie and Linda and Susan. And I could go on and on with many, many more. Well, these are great examples of those letting their light shine in government and education and law and health science and computers and engineering and athletics and the military and business and in child care and missions and ministry and in taking care of children. So as you go from Oklahoma Christian University, I hope you will follow in this great tradition. Let your light shine. Now you can settle down somewhere and get a job and go about your work and never turn on your light. Or wherever you go and whatever you do, you can choose to be a light to the world. Which shall it be for you? Just being ordinary and letting the world around you overwhelm you with its darkness? Or letting your light shine, bringing moral clarity to your business, loving those who live around you, showing how people of hope deal with difficulty, and sharing your faith with those around you. Determine now that you will let your light shine. On your job, in the neighborhood where you live, when you go to sporting events, when you're shopping, when you're driving, when you're with your church friends. Let your light shine like this. There's L for love, I for integrity, G for generosity, H for humility, and T for truth. Always sharing the truth. So, here's this message in a nutshell. Never give in letting your light shine. That's it. Never give in letting your light shine. And I charge this university, the board, the administration, the faculty, the staff, the students, the alumni, the donors, I charge all those connected with this university with staying true to its founding principles for preparing students to know God's Word and to be His servants in His church, to prepare them to let their light shine as God's children all over the world. Now, you may remember two other things I've said to you while you've been students here. They are submarines and be there. Now you've got one more. And 10 years from now, when somebody asks you, do you remember what your commencement speaker said? You will say, yes, I do. And I've lived it every day for 10 years. He said, let your light shine. God bless you.